No, you're not live tonight.
We're not live.
You're not live tonight. The internet is good. It's not strong enough. Test it. It's not working. It is recorded, yes. So we will try and sort it out afterwards. Yeah, these big messages. Good evening, members. Welcome to this ordinary council meeting of Stanley Town Council. In an unusual situation, unfortunately, the chair cannot be with us, and the vice chair is not with us. So, could I invite members to nominate one of their number to chair tonight's meeting, please? We have a nomination, Councillor.
I'll second that.
And second. Any other nominations? As we come and share the meeting, please.
Start item 1, apologies for absence.
Chairman, I've received apologies from Councillor Carl Marshall and Councillors Helen and Joyce Clark.
Item 2, declarations of interest. Any members could invite to declare the school's village pecuniary interest. Is there anything on the agenda?
Chairman, can I declare an interest on the finance papers, item 6D for graphic print and item 7G for rotary.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I'm declaring interest for Cassandra to start head walking.
Thank you. Anyone else? We're on to item 3, procedure appropriate announcement from the town mayor, which can't do that, so the last one is down.
Thank you, Chairman. As all members are all aware, it was with a great shock, we were shocked and stunned really to learn a week ago that our Deputy Town Mayor, Councillor Graham, had passed away after our last week's meeting on Tuesday. Jeff joined the council in 2015 after having been a neighbourhood watch coordinator for many years and volunteering to be a public representative on the Stanley Area Action Partnership. He was successfully re-elected in May to Stanley Hall Ward. Before he was a councillor, he'd served in the Royal Artillery for 25 years and worked in industry locally. After May's annual meeting, he was thrilled to have been chosen to be the Deputy Mayor for the Town Council, and he had thrown himself into his new role with enthusiasm, good nature, and his customary smile. Jeff was the main force behind the council's decision to hold the Armed Forces Day in 2016 and in 2017, and it was key to the organisation of both events. And he said on the day of his last meeting that he was looking forward to planning the event in 2018. He'd also spoken about his latest project at the meeting, which was to see a wildflower garden created in East Stanley Cemetery, a project which I'm sure his colleagues, Councillor Palace and Councillor Clegg, will see through on his behalf. Jeff was very passionate and loved putting back into his local community. He was a very supportive councillor when it came to the staff and of his colleagues, and we'll all miss him. Could I ask members to stand for a minute silence? had to just carry on, unfortunately. The usual notices apply. We are recording the meeting, although we're not broadcasting it this evening. We will upload it later. Is anyone else present recording the meeting this evening? No? Could I just remind everybody to set their phones to silent or switch them off before we continue? And as this full council meeting, could I remind everybody to wait till they're recognised by the chair before speaking and then to stand when they are speaking?
Moving on to item 4, public participation.
Are there any questions from the floor? John?
Thank you, Chair. After last week's meeting with John Holothorne regarding the junior police and the speed watch, John can't be here tonight. I'm also a volunteer with the speed watch programme. I'm heavily involved with it, and I'm also heavily involved with organising the events, which was took part in along at the East Stanley DNA school at the beginning of the month. Now, I just need a little bit of clarification from your own peace of mind here before I start putting more of my valuable time in, like John does, and like the other gentlemen do, that's a member of Speedwatch, by going out on rainy mornings, standing with the Speedwatch, trying to get people to slow the traffic down in built-up areas where it's been highlighted to us by members of the public and by councillors themselves. I just want to see how many councillors in this room support what we're doing. Because after the response that John got last week, and I got when John phoned me and told me how disgusted he was of the outcome, where he wasn't allowed to do his presentation, whether it was bad management of that committee, of that meeting or what, I don't know, because I wasn't there myself. But to treat volunteers like we are, giving our valuable time up, as I've said, and to feel as though we're not appreciated, we are not wanted in the area, I don't know why. That is a feeling that has gone around us all, and I've come along tonight to ask Stanley Town Council members to show me what support you have got in us doing this voluntary role. That's question one. I've got two questions, but there's two.
Well, you've got the limit of time as well, so we'll take your first question and see if there's time, because there probably won't be. In response to your question, John, you were at the meeting, but I will explain for your benefit. A council meeting is about council business. It's about councillors considering items of business they need to make decisions on and making those decisions. Now, at the meeting last week, which was the Project Initiative meeting, we had a number of people that have been invited to give presentations. David Clark, police sergeant, was invited to give a presentation because he was making a bid for the council to fund some new police cars to replace the ones that are being retired at the end of this year. And that overran, the item overran significantly, as I'm sure the chairman of the meeting will confirm. We had also invited some other speakers, some didn't come. John had not been asked to speak, not by me, not by the chairman of the meeting. John came to the meeting as a volunteer and said that he wanted to give a 25-minute presentation, which the chairman said that we didn't have time to hear because the meeting was overrunning. Now, to suggest that Stanley Town Council doesn't value the Speedwatch initiative when they've set aside £3,000 to fund it, and actually what happened at the meeting, and I don't know what you've been told, but what happened at the meeting was that the chairman of the meeting, who was Councillor Palace, said we're overrunning, we don't have time, we don't want to rush this, we'd like to set up a separate meeting where you can give your presentation to members and we can take as long as we need to hear it, not a council meeting, just a meeting, where we can hear your report, hear what your feedback is, talk about ideas at our leisure and not be rushed and forced because we're running late in a meeting that can only last for 2 hours. That was what the chairman of the meeting said. We'll have a separate meeting set up for Speedwatch. We've continued to fund it. And unfortunately, I think what happened was that John attended the meeting, wanted to give a presentation, he hadn't been asked to give a presentation, and then got offended when we didn't have time to hear his presentation. That's unfortunate, but it's not a snub or anything else to do with Speedwatch. So that's what happened, John.
Right, thank you for clarifying that. I'll go back to John speaking more. Next question is, as most of the council should be aware of, that there was a big presentation with the junior police starts the DNA school at the beginning of the month. There was only one councillor from Stanley Town Council turned up. Now we had people from the RAF there, the fire brigade were there, the police were there. There was also a member of the management of Hire came up. Hire is a transport firm that delivers the petrol to Anfield Plain and Ludgate filling station. Now they've come on board with us on promoting road safety throughout the country. They've asked me and John to do a presentation around all their drivers over the next 12 months. Now that's come on the back of us doing our speed watch. And also the mini police were there as well. Now I see the mini police being our future in to keep the reduction of crime down by getting to engage with police officers now and reporting little bits of tidbits that they get to know in the playground back to the police. It's a good idea, it works. Across the country, other forces have took this on board and they're running with it as well. We've been a pilot scheme for this, it's going nationwide. But again, I come back to the council and say, look, why are, on special occasions like that, there was invitations out to the council because Joe Nicholson turned up, the mayor was invited. Now, I really see that there should be more participation.
The invitation came on the Tuesday and the event was on Friday. Now I read out the invitation, it was in a full council meeting last month, and I said I received an invitation today to the event at NDA. Unfortunately, our councillors have jobs, they have other commitments, they're busy people, and they couldn't get there. It was too short notice. I didn't get to go there because I already had things in the diary for Friday. You know, so yes, the council do support what's happening. Unfortunately, John didn't give the members enough notice to get there. If he'd given us a couple of weeks' notice, I'm sure he'd have had a lot bigger turnout from the council. And in relation to mini police, the council has a budget of £4,400 this year for mini police, which has not been clawed back. And James was trying to get hold of Craig Johnson today because what the council asked for was a solid proposal from Craig Johnson about what he wanted to do with that budget for members to look at before they committed. So on both counts, you know, the council does support road safety initiative that you're part of, John. It does support the mini police. I'm not sure where all this is coming from. Well, I do know where it's coming from.
It's just I'll come back.
But it's about communication.
I'll come back tonight to just clarify. Yes, we have got support from Stanley Town Council. Now, I'd like you to ask the councillors around the table to give a show of hands to see how many actually do want us to promote this road safety
They
Stanley.
don't need to do that, John. The
But it clarifies to the public that's here now.
Well, come on. The council has, I've just told you the answer, the council has put aside a budget for mini police, £4,500. It has put £3,000 into your road safety project. John was not asked to give a presentation at the project's meeting, but he got upset when because he wanted to give one and there wasn't time. And there was insufficient notice given to members to attend the NDA event. Those are the answers to your question, John. You've had enough time. Are there any other questions from the public? Right. Chairman.
Thank you. Board item 5, confirmation of council minutes to approve as a correct record of signing minutes for the following meeting. 25th of June 2017, Woodbury Council.
Someone remove the minutes. Mr. Christie, second.
I'll second.
Councillor Marr. They agree? Yeah. It is
receive the minutes of the following meetings. 18th of July, Projects and Initiatives Committee.
We're just receiving them, so you can just move to receive them. And this is any areas you want to point out. Councillor Palace moves to receive them, second.
Yeah.
Councillor Stevenson, agreed?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I thought we were taking the room off. Okay. Sorry, finance minutes.
Finance and Rules Committee.
Can I move them?
Yeah, Councillor Stevenson, second. Councillor Carmichael, agreed?
Item 7, recommendations of the committee meetings. The following recommendations of the committee meeting held Castodian Council meetings July 2017 declared considered by full council. Item A, project initiatives. At a meeting held on the 18th of July 2017, the Projects and Initiatives Committee made the following recommendations to council. Number 1, Louisa Minor Centre Memorial. Committee recommends that the memorial should remain a Navi player. We'll try to contact Durham County Council for a license to put the memorial in Navi Plain Park.
Comments, debate, no?
Number 2, Armed Forces Day. Committee recommends that the day should be repeated in 2018 and that the planning of the event should begin immediately to ensure that the armed forces can commit to the day.
Who's going to be doing that now? I know Jeff had a state partner.
He did, and we will have to try to pick it up and run with it.
Chairman, can I just say on that one, that the Armed Forces Day seemed to go down very, very well. It was well attended, a number of shops were open and managed to do quite a bit of trade on the day, which was byproduct of it. But obviously the reason that Jeff wanted to start that planning immediately, there's some of the armed forces that couldn't be there because they weren't given sufficient notice, and we really need to get in touch with them all. I presume that we have a list now. They need to get in their diaries early, so if we want to repeat it next year, that's good success on first one.
I think that part of the reason that Jeff was particularly concerned about the book of the armed forces up so early was because with last year being an election year, obviously when we set the budgets in January, we agreed to put the event on, but there was a little bit of uncertainty until the budgets were set whether or not we would actually have the funding. So we didn't really start planning it in earnest until after January when the budgets had been set, because there was no agreement from council that we were definitely going to have it again. So I think getting that decision early means that we can actually crack on and contact all the relevant armed forces. And I think after the Michael Heaviside commemoration, certainly the feedback that we had from the armed forces that was present there, they were incredibly impressed. They said it was one of the best feast celebrations they've ever seen anywhere in the country, because it was so unique in the fact that it was recreating a day a century ago because of the unique bit of footage that exists about the Heaviside homecoming. So I think that actually that day helped to cement the relationship with a lot of the armed forces, particularly the Durham Rifles. I hope that we'll get a good attendance from the armed forces next year.
Number 3, the following...
Excuse me, Chair. With the council's permission, could I make a comment about Jeff?
Yes.
I would just like to say that, sorry that Jeff's gone, and as to the forces, day, I think he's got big shoes to fill. 'Cause he did a lot for that. And, you know, after speaking to him, because I'm ex-quarters as well, I think he brought it alive. He put his vigour in it, he put his all into it, he put his heart into it. And I will personally miss him on that. Apart from other things.
Thank you, Bill.
I think everyone would echo that sentiment, Billy. You know, Jeff was absolutely key to that. He was on the phone to us every day, every little snippet of information, every little bit of progress. He was totally into it and thoroughly passionate about it.
Item 3, the following budget projects are recommended to be shelved in the current year. The Music Festival, £5,000, and the World War I commemoration, £5,000. And council should consider the allocation of these budgets. This is, committee recommends that a specific specification be produced for the Crystal Light switch on event that bid, the bids are invited from outside provided for the event.
Chair, can I just say the reason for this was that the amount of time our staff would need to put in to organise that, and we're very thin on the ground, and we need to start planning very early, so that was the reason for the vote tender to get somebody to do it. So it was nature of all the responsibility and take the rest, as long as the specification meets the rules of this council, I think it's a wise thing to do.
Anyone else?
The remaining items, Chairman, are just for information. Council decisions were taken at the committee meeting. Do you want me to just quickly for the benefit? For the benefit of those that weren't at the project initiative, decisions taken at the committee, police cars, committee will schedule a working group to consider the application of funding from Sergeant Clark in the wider context of Labour Group's pledge to introduce enhanced modern services standing. That will be scheduled, I believe that Sergeant Clark is now on leave until 1st of August, so that will be sometime in August. Mini Police, we were directed to contact the scheme organiser and request a detailed proposal to be put forward with respect to this budget allocation. And again, James has been chasing Craig to move that on. Road safety, a working group will be scheduled to hear detailed feedback from the project coordinator and to firm up the allocation of the budget. And obviously we will be contacting John to arrange that meeting in the near future. And council is asked to consider those recommendations and decide what to do.
Can I just say, Chairman, I hope this allays the fears that seem to be going around that we're not supporting the mini police and the road safety. Got an improvement on the budgets, we're visiting every budget that we're doing in line with our pledges, but they're quite clear that we haven't shelved them, we are looking at them, and as long as we get the right information on it, then we know what the budget's going to be spent on. So we'll wait for those proposals. So thanks, Chairman.
Anyone else? Motion. Anybody agree with that? You want to feel it?
Yeah, Councillor Palace is moving that we accept the recommendation of the committee. Councillor McMahon, second. Those approved? Yeah. So, Chairman, now we move to the business which was deferred from the finance meeting. So obviously, the finance committee met on the day that we discovered that Councillor Graham had died and deferred all of the substantive business to be considered at a later date. So we are now moving to the business from the finance committee from last Wednesday. Item 6 on that agenda was account payment and bank reconciliation for committee and council being asked to consider that the information and approve the payment of accounts for June and note the bank reconciliation. Are there any comments about the accounts for payment and the bank reconciliation?
Can I say, Chair, that we did signal the intention that we make the information more simple to understand and identify what's happening. I believe the Chair of Finance has already met with officers, and Doug Carmichael, with his speciality in finance, is liaising with them as well. And whereas there is some changes to how the finance has been presented, we don't need the detail. I see we've already got rid of the private email address of our banking account and other items. But if we want to be prudent and we want to identify where money is being spent, there's a lot more work to do. I look forward to hearing from the Chair of Finance. Is that one? Thanks for the work that's been done so far.
Yeah. Just to say that yes, we have had initial meetings and we are going to look further at some of the documentation that we receive. What we feel is required is something quite straightforward and simple that gives us very clear indications of where the money's being spent within the council by sort of venue or area of responsibility. So we'll hope to bring that back after the recess in September. So hopefully everybody will be able to see some changes then.
I mean, the major change for this was that we've only put the front page of the bank statements.
Yeah.
Because actually, you know, the transactions are listed anyway
Elsewhere, so.
on the report from Omega. So the purpose of the bank statements is just so you can see the balances are the same that we've reconciled to. And obviously the detail is there, it does exist, and if members of the committee or want to interrogate the bank statements, then they're welcome to come in the office and do so. But Councillor Stevenson and Councillor Carmichael felt there was no need to put in every single transaction on the bank statement in the public domain. So we produce the amount of information that goes onto those papers. Although the list of payments and the receipts is still in the papers at the moment.
It was duplication.
We have good item 10 as well.
This is item 6.
So it's item 10.
No, we're on the finance agenda here. No,
So
6.
how do you do?
Right. Would someone care to move and we approve the payments? Councillor Stevenson is moving to approve the payments. Councillor Christie seconded it. Those agreed? Yeah. And can we note the bank reconciliation? Yeah.
Agreed.
Right. So we move on to item 7 on this agenda.
Budget monitoring, item 7, the town conference prepared a budget monitoring report for security by committee. The report focuses on exceptions and does not report specifically about the budget which are on target.
Okay, it's a bit early in the year for a budget monitoring report. You wouldn't normally bother after a couple of months because you've not got you can't really accurately predict the outturn position at this stage. But this is really for the benefit of you as a new council to get a feel for the figures. So I've provided a breakdown of the reserves, where the earmarked reserves are and where they stand at the moment for your information. I've provided a breakdown of where we are with the spend on the public works loan and projects that were approved by council for the expenditure, additional expenditure for the remainder of that loan. I've then provided a few exceptions on revenue budgets, which hopefully are self-explanatory, and overall there are no there are no major concerns. We do have some underspends reported in some areas, not huge amounts, and we have significant underspends in other areas. So at the moment, you know, a straight line prediction would show a significant underspend. I don't think there will be a significant underspend at the year end, but I've got no concerns unless members have. Councillor Stevenson has got anything? That's all right. That was attachment G on the finance papers for the puzzle members of the public. They were published online on the finance papers. That's just the budget report. Any questions on the budget monitoring report? No? And the trial balance, yeah. Well, Councillor Carmichael asked to see a trial balance because it's kind of, I suppose if you're not used to local authority accounts, trial balance is more like business accounts. So it makes more sense to people that have been involved with businesses. It's just really for your information, another way of presenting the same figures. If there's any questions. No. I mean, the good news is the trial balance balances, so we're doing something right, you know. Okay,
Thanks, Chair. I just wanted to say this is just about presentation. It's about nothing else other than presentation. Financially, you know, everything is sound, but it's just about making things easier and simpler to read, and that's what this whole review process will be continuing to do.
And I think that you said, if I'm sorry, I'm paraphrasing you, but I think that what you want to do in future finance and governance meetings is actually focus on specific areas in the budget and sort of drill down into them in more detail. So the expenditure on a civic hall, bar, whatever.
Yeah.
So you can sort of review those areas in more detail.
And I think it's to look at, you know, risk management basically, so we make sure that we know exactly what we've got coming up and how much you know, we're actually spending in various places, which was there but not clear, and it's just about getting that clarity into the paperwork, that's all.
So that's accepted. Right, the medium-term plan. Yeah, this was the main thing really that that when I had a meeting with Councillors Stevenson and Carmichael that they wanted to focus on. Obviously, the Finance and Governance Committee has a wider remit than the old Finance Committee, which just looked at finance. And what the committee meeting last week would have been looking to do was to start the discussion about medium-term planning. Obviously, the Labour group have stated that they want to produce a medium-term plan to deliver their pledges and other things, amongst other things, and identify what the strategic direction for the council is. And it was really the 5 bullet points that I put on the agenda, which were identifying priorities for the council, 5-year plan, budgetary requirements and constraints, format of scoping meetings and workshops, and a timetable for publication and launch, were really there just to help steer the discussion. And that was a discussion which Councillor Stevenson was going to sort of chair. I don't know if you want to put your hand up and say something.
Yes, I will.
Councillor Stevenson.
For me, coming from a county council background, one of the things that I felt that we really needed to focus on was looking at the strategic documents that explain what we are as a council, what our purpose is, and lay out some very clear aims, objectives, and a plan about how we're going to deliver on everything that we're saying we're going to deliver through our pledges, basically. So for me, that was something that the governance, part of that finance and governance group really needed to start to look at. So in discussion with Alan, these were some of the areas that we just felt would have given us a little bit of a framework in which to start the discussion. Unfortunately, that discussion didn't happen, but I still feel that we need to look at potentially how we as a town council work together, all of us, to develop a plan that we all buy into. And what I was going to suggest at the meeting was that we look at a facilitated away day where we set a framework for what the council's going to deliver in the plan that we're all going to buy into going forward. Thank you.
Marshall.
I think developing the plan under a more relaxed atmosphere, less formal, and this allows you to put forward suggestions. And, I think it's a good idea. If we hit the timetable and make the time to do it, that's one way of taking it forward. So it's appropriate time, but there's one thing had in the plan for a number of years, and it hasn't happened, and that is DBS checks. Now even County Council have insisted that all their members that have agreed and have been passed, everybody will fill in the DBS. And I'll make a formal motion that we see to that as soon as possible. It safeguards this council, it safeguards councils, and we've been looking at it now. The money was put in the budget 2.5 years ago, and we still haven't had it done. And I think it should be given some kind of priority in our plan.
Well, Councillor Marshall obviously can't move that because it's not on the agenda, but it's a...
I am.
Obviously we did put a budget in for DBS checks, so there is a revenue budget for DBS checks, so it's something that can come into the discussion, I think.
Can I just say that when you talk about governance, that's an absolutely crucial part of how we govern ourselves and how we deliver our service. So I do think it's appropriate within that governance thing, and it probably would have been something that we discussed, had that discussion now. So.
Chair, I think this illustrates why this is not the right format for any kind of planning meeting, because I have to put your hand up and wait and bob and stuff. It's just not right. I think what was clear to me from the meeting I had with Councillor Stevenson and Councillor Carmichael is that what they want to do is what they don't want to do is go away and sit in a room and write a plan and then just present it as a fait accompli. This is our plan. What they want to do is they want to have an inclusive discussion, probably a facilitated discussion, with some thematic strands which they will tell you we're going to vote for because we've got a majority on the council. But beyond that, an inclusive discussion about what the priorities are and how they fit into the timetable and what the budgets need to look like going forward over the medium term. And I think that what was discussed at that meeting, so I'll just throw it out there while I'm talking because otherwise I'll put my hand up again, was that we could do something like, and I'm not saying those exact people, but the people that provided the member training, get people like that to come and do a sort of facilitated day where we have a clear programme, where we look at the strategic themes, we look at budgeting, we break out into workshop groups with clipboards and clip charts and that kind of thing, and we sit down and brainstorm all the ideas, and then we can try and pull that into a draft plan, which is including everybody's input against some certain preset criteria. Now that's something which obviously council needs to vote to do, council needs to participate in, because I appreciate to do that you're going to have to give up time. You're probably going to have to give up another Saturday, sat in a room to discuss that. But it's something that Councillor Stevenson and Councillor Carmichael felt would be useful for the council to actually sit and really think about, beyond the 1 year cycle to a 3 to 5 year plan, to look at what the aspirations are, what the direction of travel the council wants to achieve is, and then do a medium term plan to enable it to deliver that. Is that summing it up?
In a nutshell.
Right.
But very much about the inclusivity. Everyone involved, so that everyone has a chance to say what they think and get their ideas on the table. I think that's crucial.
Is there a motion on that item? Anyone?
I'll make a motion that the council look at a facilitated away day to develop a strategic document which has a vision, aims, objectives, etc. and make it an inclusive event where everyone joins in with it.
Second, I'm second.
Councillor Marshall seconded it.
All in favour?
Any against? Abstentions? Right, that's carried. So we will organise a facilitated away day to get together to talk about the strategic plan.
Yeah, brilliant.
Right. 10 from finance. This one. Oh, sorry. Item 9.
So item 9, report of the town clerk,
No, straightforward plan, straightforward plan.
the committee for
It might be expedient given that we're not in the finance committee and we're not kind of focused to just defer that item and bring it back to September.
Yeah.
Is that acceptable? Yeah.
Item 10, investment opportunities.
Right, okay. Another, it sounds like it was a very long meeting that I had with, it wasn't that long. One of the things that we discussed was about investment of the reserves. So you can see on the budget monitoring report what our reserves currently stand at. And it was suggested that it would be prudent to invest a proportion of that in some kind of scheme that gives us a better return than the Barclays savings account, which gives us next to nothing. So the recommendation was that myself, in consultation with the chair of the finance committee, which is Councillor Stevenson, so investigate investment opportunities and bring a report back for committee to consider in the September meeting. I'll give some examples of some of the schemes that I was aware of without any research. A motion for that.
I've got a second.
I move.
With the recommendation.
Yes.
And second that?
Second.
Councillor Davidson. Agreed? Right. So now we'll go back to this.
Report of the town clerk. The town clerk will provide members with an update in respect of the following matters. Number 1, St. Paul Works.
Okay. Just a quick update. Obviously, if you go back to the finance papers, we had the budget monitoring report. I reported there that works that had been approved by council, which was to sort out the exterior signage, because we don't have a sign, same with the building schools. To sort out the doors, because the automatic doors have been broken now for a number of months, and we agreed that we put sliding ones in instead. To fix or upgrade the PA system in the auditorium, to remove the front of the tech box wall, to complete the fly tower on the stage in the auditorium, and then with the remaining budget to be invested in the Bambra Suite and the toilets, which are TBA in terms of cost on the list. Just to report that we have all of the signage, and that will be the provisional date for the install of that is the 12th of August. So on the 12th of August, hopefully we'll be getting a Civic Hall illuminated sign above the doors. Sliding doors, the electrics have been done for the sliding doors, and they should be installed on the 9th of August. So again, you'll get an automatic sensor controlled sliding door, which will, people do struggle to get in this building with those big doors. As anyone who's seen and watched will see. We are obtaining another additional quotes for the PA system, because we have one and another that I'm not happy with, so we're getting another couple. The tech box wall has been scheduled in for August, because there's no shows in the hall, so that'll be done in August. And the fly tower, we've ordered the steel fabrication that needs to be done in the lantern. So that's been ordered, that's being installed first week of August, 7th of August, the steel beams going in. And then we are just waiting for a second quote on the flying tower, and that will hopefully be installed in August as well. So hopefully by the end of the recess, we will have a sign above the door, sliding doors, a new PA system, a fly tower, and a tech box that can be used so we don't lose 3 rows of seats. So that's good progress there. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I take it that spent all the budget,
No.
just a little bit there.
There's, according to my calculations, we've got, after we've done all that, we've got 60,000 left to do the Bambra Suite and the toilets.
What we need to know is what is needed to be spent in this building. We're coming to the end of the loan that we took out, and we still haven't completed everything. I'm sure that yourself and the staff here have a list of things that they would like to see or need to be done in here, and we really need an update report on that, because we started off, we were subsidising this fall by about 150,000. We're now in a situation where we're putting about 185,000 in to keep this place running. And if, when we come to the next item, the council officers on the front street, if we move out the pier and move into those council offices, if everything adds up and finances right and buildings the right price and everything, then I've got concerns about the feasibility of this hall, given that if we're not paying electric anymore, we're not paying the gas bills, not paying the overhead that's on it, I've got concerns about the future of it, and I want to be quite sure when we're talking about funding it, that it's good value for money for the ratepayers, because the only other way that we get money now is to put it onto the public, and I'm sure none of us want to do that given the financial climate. But we need a full report of what's needed, how much it's going to cost, and if we do take over the old council offices and move the council out, what will that do to it could screw the running of this hall? So we're not quite sure what we're doing.
Yeah, Councillor Marshall, you have had, although it's a few months back, you've got a full breakdown of every little bit of tech kit that was needed in the hall. And it was at that meeting where council prioritised the flight tower, the PA, the tech box wall. In terms of the other stuff, there are external funding sources available. So, for example, the cinema, which everyone wanted to get back operational, but we didn't prioritise when we were looking at the theatre tech. You know, there are Arts Council, Arts England, there are grants which can be applied for. So we would hope to, later in the year, bring forward put together a funding application to take in certainly the theatre side of things. And I think that in tandem with that, what will probably come out of the Finance and Governance Committee will be a review of the wet operation, the coffee shop, and the other side of the business, if you like, the non-auditorium side, which will happen in tandem. So I hope that we'll get a lot of those questions you just asked answered before the end of the year.
Can I just say, Chair, we've been in a position of being able to get grants from Arts Council, from all sorts of organisations. Up till now we haven't applied for any. We could have done match funding, could have done all sorts. I know the County Council have a pot of money there now that you can get into, and I think it's important that we look at grants and use a little bit of money that's left to match it, which could double our money and allow us to get much farther on it. Because up to now, we haven't looked for grants that I'm aware of. It's not been reported to me that we were, and I haven't, by the same token, I haven't brought it to this council and said, look, we should be going for grants. Because the reason we're told we can't do that, from led to believe now there is grants. So let's look at that as a whole, as part of the finance package as well. We want to be quite sure that in next year's budget we've got sufficient money to keep this place going. After all the investment got in, but we've got to be quite sure that it's affordable to the public. That's all I'm saying, Chairman.
Any question about the Smith Hall? Council officer, please.
Yes. Okay, council offices. Durham County Council really have been dragging their heels along on this. We had the survey done on Wednesday last week, and I'm expecting the report from that in about a week's time, which will mean that we will convene the subgroup to look at that and review what it says in terms of what the costs are likely to be and the recommendations it makes. And then obviously we may need, I'll give you advance warning, we may need an extraordinary meeting to discuss the recommendations of that working group, because if the recommendations of the working group are that we should move forward with the project, then obviously we need to make an application for a public works loan to raise some capital. So council would need to convene to see that, or we just wait until September. But time is marching on. So that survey's happened and we're waiting the results of that. I've been chasing DCC and they tell me now that they have sent the draft contracts to our solicitors. I've not been able to confirm this because unfortunately our solicitor has left and I've not got hold of the person that's been appointed to replace him, which is not terribly helpful. But I hope to get confirmation of when that's happening. I thought there might have been some more developments. I thought I might have got somewhere with the legal people, but I haven't. So situation is we're waiting the survey results and we're chasing the legal people up to see where we are with the contract.
Any other matters of interest to the council?
There was, just to say that, sorry, just to sort of refer back up to stuff higher on the agenda. Obviously James has already, although these have only just been signed off, I've already made some inquiries about the Louisa Morrison Miners Memorial, taken some photographs, identified a suitable location within Anfield Plain Park, and I'm writing to the chap who we was in discussion with about the war memorial in Anfield Plain Park to apply for a licence for that to be put there. Now, you know, there's going to be some costs associated with that. We'll have to have a conversation with the church and see if they're going to put anything into that, and we'll work out how we fund it otherwise. So we've started on that. Armed Forces Day, James has already made contact with the 101 artillery, just to let them know that Councillor Graham passed more than anything, but he has touched base with them. They did say that they would, when we know what the arrangements are, that they will certainly try and attend the funeral service. And I think they're quite keen to get going with next year's event, aren't they? Yep. And on Christmas, James has obviously already started working on a specification report to bring to council in September. And we'll try to contact David, who's on holiday, but the police cars, mini police, we've put inquiry for Craig Johnson, who's not there. We need to get hold of John and schedule the work for road safety. There is lots of other stuff happening. Unfortunately, it's been a bit of a hectic week. I feel a bit frazzled, so I've forgotten. Sorry.
Contract.
That's not listed. Any questions?
I just say something. I just wanted to give a great congratulations to everyone who was involved in the Michael Heaviside event, and it was absolutely spectacular. From the morning event right away through till the parade along the street, I just thought, this is just amazing. It just really made me feel so proud to come from here. So from someone who's new to the council, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who was involved in it, in particular Carol, your area. Brilliant. Well done.
Are there any further questions or anything from members?
The date and time of the venue of next meeting will be Tuesday, the 26th of September at 6:30 in the Stansted Way. Thank you.
Can I thank Alex for taking the chair at short notice?
Hold up.
Thank you.
Well,